Friday the 13th. Happy Friday, everybody. It is 5 p.m. on Friday, March 13th. I hope you guys are doing well. Nice crowd today. I guess you were all waiting for me. Nothing really is going on, George, not to our knowledge. I mean, just the same old story, different day. So I want to bring you just a couple of reminders of just some general housekeeping. One, I'm still going to ask you to keep looking for any of your receipts from January 1st of 2022 to January 13th of January 12th of 2023. And if you have those receipts, just put them in an envelope. If you don't have them, do not worry, because if we're able to come to a resolution, you will be getting a document in the mail that will list all of your appointments that you can then go and seek those receipts for. So at least you'll have a specific date that you'll be able to look for them. So don't worry, I'm just trying to get everyone to just start being a little proactive on that. Second thing, Lobby Day. So for many of you who have registered for Lobby Day, we still do have a few seats open, and we also now have a Staten Island bus that's filling up quickly. So we added a third bus. And that bus will be leaving from Staten Island at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, just like the one in Manhattan. So Marianne, Berto, or some of you that are on here that are Staten Islanders, please send us a message. I will probably email you guys separately and let you know that there will be a bus leaving from Staten Island so that you don't have to come to Manhattan. I will make sure I email the 5 of you from Staten Island that registered. And then I will put you in contact with the gentleman that will be hosting the bus, at least be the bus captain from Staten Island. That bus will leave Staten Island and it will then go to Hudson Valley and pick up a group of retirees from, where is that? Somewhere, I think somewhere off the Palisades. So if you're interested, please make sure I will update the list after this show. I will go in and update that list to say Staten Island or Palisades only. You will check off that box. Please make sure if you are registering and you are bringing a guest that you are telling us who that guest is and providing us with their contact. Last time we went, there were a group of retirees, a couple of retirees that left off the Staten Island bus that did not stay in touch with the bus captain. And then you ended up being on our bus because your bus left without you. So next time, we don't want that to happen. So it'll be very important that rules are followed. So make sure after this show, I will update that registration list. So just make sure just give me a couple minutes. I actually have it open on one of my million tabs up top. I will go and fix that later on. And I will add, actually, you can even just put yourself down as Staten Island, or if you are listening and you're interested in the Hudson Valley Palisade bus, I'm going to add that as an option too. So let me write that down and I will add that. So just give me a little while after this show to be able to do that. And that would be the Lobby Day. We scheduled a Lobby Day training, and I just sent all the people that emailed, whether you were driving or whether you are taking the bus. I sent you out an email with the Zoom link for the last training class, which is on the 19th at 6 p.m. Hi, Kerry. I got your documents, but I did not get to review them. But I am going to write that down, so I do that as well. Okay, let's see. What else is in the chat? Hi, Marianne. Where should I sign up for the bus in Albany? So times they are changing. Did you get our email? Because if you've been getting our email, the link is in the email. If you did not, I will, well, hold on now. If you did not, I will post it on our Facebook. Are you on our Facebook page by chance? Let me see where you're coming to me from. No, you're coming to me from YouTube. I don't want to post the link on YouTube, but I know I've posted it there before. We're filling up, so I don't want a lot. If you give me a second, let me see if I can log into our account and grab you that link. Okay. And your choices, oops, Staten Island. I do have Staten Island. I'm going to add Hudson Valley. Hudson Valley Palisades. Okay. All right. So here is the link for the bus. It's coming in. Let me just make sure that it goes to the YouTube where you are. Times are changing. Let me drop down there and see. Yep, it went through. So that would be the link. Now I'm going to go back up. Does that make us doubly unlucky or doubly now lucky? I have no idea. I don't. Oh, you're talking to Ellen. Ellen, the city's reimbursement for Medicare B usually comes in April. Please consider a donation, no matter how modest, after it shows up on your bank account. Thank you for. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Ellen. Hi, John. Good to see you. Hello from Duchess. Marianne, what a great response to Michael Mulgrew's lie you put out. He's incredibly vile, but we can always count on you to counter what these compromised union leaders insist on putting out. Look, you've heard me say this a million times. We really need good, strong unions in the city of New York. What we don't need is corrupt unions or morally corrupt unions, and we're going to keep calling them out. We are starting up again our debunking bullshit page. Welcome back, 2026. So I think this might be the first entry for 2026. We'll be debunking Michael Mulgrew once again. And we've given him a new nickname. I know you're probably going to laugh, but we're calling him Muddy the Water Mulgrew because that's what he's been doing, is muddying the water. He's trying to distort the truth, distort the facts. Well, he's always done that. But now we're starting a new narrative, and he thinks that this is going to carry, and it's not. We're going to push back, and we're going to push back real hard on this. If he wants to take this road, we're ready. And if he wants to threaten to sue, if this bill passes, then bring it on. We're ready for that too. He's not going to like the outcome of that. Trust me, he isn't. But he wants to take that path. Bring it. Now, to answer a question, yes, Carrie, I did get it. My apologies. It's just been kind of nuts, and I've been running around like a chicken today. So I combined all of them into one document, and I will look at them later and go through everything that you sent me, and then I will get back to you. My hope is this weekend. So at least you do have an answer. I'm driving, or maybe the Hudson Valley pickup. Okay. So if you are driving, times are changing, they are changing. You can check off on that sign up that you are driving. Just don't tell me you're taking the bus and then stand us up, or don't tell me you're driving and then show up. You might not have a seat. So whatever you commit to, commit it. Okay. So I want to bring up, hey, John, good to see you. So Palisades, they're looking at, there's some cheesecake factory or something up there that we had the bus stop at the last time. I don't honestly have the address for me. I think it's somewhere in West Nyack or something. I will get an address, but that's where they're looking at the bus being. It was the same pickup as last time where we had it. Doctors charge $15 before we. So Phyllis, I've said 1,000,001 times, do not pay a copay if you have not met the deductible. We put out a document. The document was on our website. The document was on our Facebook page. The document was in an email. Those letters had to be printed out and brought to your doctor so that you didn't have to fight with them at the counter. Get the letter, bring it to your doctor. If you've already paid it, make sure it gets applied to your deductible, or you're going to need to ask the doctor for a reimbursement. At this point, we're already in March going into April. That's just insane. I want to meet him face to face. Who do you want to meet with, George? Hi, Marianne. Greg, retired MTA Brooklyn. Hi, Greg. Good to see you again. Palisade Central Mall. You remember that, Katie. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back over the UFT since you asked about that. So at the meeting, towards when Mulgrew was talking about Muddy the Water, Mulgrew was talking about 1096. Sarah Shapiro had asked him a question, and she's retired UFT. She asked a question and she said, "What is our bargaining unit for retirees? What is the retiree? Is it the UFT retiree bargaining unit? What bargaining unit is it?" He kept going, "No, no, no," he kept saying. He said, "The MLC is the bargaining unit for workers." No, the MLC is not a bargaining unit. The MLC doesn't hold a legal bargaining certificate. Now, the MLC can bargain like a coalition. What does that mean? You could be a coalition of unions. You could all come together around a single issue and bargain together. Who typically does that? Well, mostly the civilian unions, and then the uniformed unions can do it separately. The uniforms have a coalition. It's fire, police, sanitation, corrections. Those unions usually get together, and they'll try to negotiate a uniformed package that all the unions agree to. Now, let's say I'm the fire union and I'm in a room trying to bargain with all these other unions. And I'm like, "I don't agree with you guys. That's crazy. I am not going to negotiate in this coalition." Me as the fire union, I could back out and I can negotiate on my own. Now, there's nothing saying that the coalition would get better or worse. It's just that if a majority of them do strike a deal, I might kind of have a harder time getting anything different. It's not impossible. It just makes the odds more difficult. Okay. But these are still my union that I hold a bargaining certificate for. These are my mandatory subjects of bargaining. No one can take that away. Healthcare is a mandatory subject of bargaining, no matter how many times Michael Mulgrew, Muddy the Water Mulgrew, wants to say it's not. So it's a voluntary coalition. You can either participate in it or you don't have to. The problem with the Municipal Labor Committee is the two largest, richest unions in the MLC with the heaviest weighted vote want to make you believe that once you're in the MLC, they're like the mafia and you can't get out, and that you must negotiate with them. And that's not true. The MLC is not supposed to be bargaining. They can come together as a coalition or not. And yet that's not educated to the 101 unions in the membership of the MLC, and they're not told that they have a choice. So they believe that they're compelled to do this rather than saying, "I abstain. That I don't recognize this body as a voting body of representing the members of my union." And yet most of them just go along with the flow because they don't think they have any other choice when they do. And that's the difference. So the MLC is not a bargaining unit. It does not hold a bargaining certificate. It can be used as a coalition only, and it's supposed to be voluntary, not mandatory. So when he told Sarah Shapiro the other day that is the bargaining unit for workers, that's not entirely true. It could be a coalition for workers, but under no circumstances can a union or the MLC negotiate for current retirees. They can negotiate for active workers who will be future retirees or future retiree benefits. They cannot negotiate for current retirees. And if Mulgrew wants to fight that in court, we're more than ready for that. We've been preparing for that day, to be quite honest with you, and we're actually looking forward to it. But he is wrong about case law regarding the MLC, and that they're allowed to negotiate for retirees. There's more case law than he wants to the opposite, and it goes way back. So if he wants to fight us, we're more than ready for that. And what he did say to her was that there is a contract that's for retirees and employees' healthcare. Well, that he's right on. There is a contract, and it's between the city and the insurance company, not the unions and the insurance company, not the unions and the city. The only thing he owns at this point is the MLC agreements that he's agreed to diminish healthcare benefits, pass co-pays, and higher deductibles on each and every one of us, active and retired. And we've shown you a million of those documents. So that's the answer to Sarah Shapiro's question. There is no bargaining unit for retirees. Retirees are retired. The reason why, as well as retirees are not in unions, is because our needs are materially different. And if we were in the same bargaining unit, think about it, it would be like supervisors and rank and file being in the same unit. There's material needs that are different, and they would leverage one over the other. Back in the day in EMS, all the supervisors and the EMTs and paramedics were in the same union. And then you'd have the higher ranking, the officers, arguing they should get more money than the rank and file. They didn't belong in our union because they would then leverage us and argue that they should get more and we should get less in the same union. And that's exactly what's happening in the UFT with the paras and the teachers and the OTPTs. They don't belong in that union. So this is why this is false. And if he wants to carry that narrative, he's not going to win on that if he takes an official position on it. I mean, right now he's just pontificating, and he's welcome to blow steam all he wants. Let's see, what questions? Ellen, my AG sued Emblem and Prime for being secretly in cahoots with price fixing. Oh, Michigan AG. Yes, they did. I remember you shared with me that article. The Michigan AG welcomes other AGs to use the Michigan complaint versus Emblem and Prime in their states. Do you know whether the New York State AG may be interested? You know what, Ellen, I'm going to write that back down in my notes, and then I will get back to you on that. Okay. Thanks for the reminder. Once a pay rate is set by all the unions are bound by the rate. So Todd, what that really means, and you had a Mulgrew arguing, muddy the water Mulgrew, arguing that pattern bargaining is a failure and a scheme and blah, blah, blah in the para hearing on Monday. What does that mean? Set the pattern. He set the pattern, or DC 37 set the pattern. The pattern was that they would get X amount of percents. Just so let's say hypothetically, it's 3% a year for 4 years. So the value of a percent, every union has a value of 1%. And there's a book known as the 1% book. We have a copy of it. And it tells you what percentage of a single point, a single percentage of raise would cost that union. And if I remember the last time, it was about $450 million. So this book lists every collective bargaining unit and the 1%. It gives you the head count of them and the value of those benefits. So if the city set a percentage with a union that set the pattern, like DC 37, so now that pattern would be carried over based on the size of that union on the value for that union to receive. So now let's say in the teacher's case, Michael Mulgrew got the same percentage as was negotiated for the DC 37. He now has a dollar figure that he's allowed to work with. That doesn't mean that it has to rigidly be applied to all of the titles within his union. He has many different titles. Teachers, there's different aides, there's paras, there's OTPTs, there's a lot, there's like 100 titles in that one local. But he could say, well, over the length of this contract, we're going to apply more of this money to the lower paid titles and try to do that to try to boost them up. He could, or give everyone the same pattern, but he could have negotiated an equity fund that would apply more equity to the paras. He could have done a million different things within what he had, the pocketbook that he had negotiated. Or, like labor relations did say in their testimony on Monday, one of the council members asked him, "What has the union done? Like, or what could it do at this point? Their contract isn't due to reopen until next year for negotiation until next year." And Labor Relations said, "Well, Michael Mulgrew could request a reopener." He didn't request a reopener. He's asked for a reopener before when he did the family leave, but he never asked for a reopener now. So he could have that conversation and go to reopen his contract before its expiration and try to add more value to the contract. He didn't do that. And this provision of giving paras $10,000 is very well needed, just like your EMTs and paramedics are underpaid, but no one's giving them a respect check. The reason why is it because it holds paras to be servants to the plantation of the city or of the UFT in perpetuity. Those paras cannot retire until the union actually negotiates them a pensionable wage. So it keeps them as servants to the plantation of the DOE. Why would you do that to people? That means that para today who's making $32,000, if that para wanted to retire, that para would now take a pension, a half pension, a 50% pension of $32,000. Are you going to be able to live on that? They sure as shit can't live on that. I struggle sometimes to live on my $35,000 pension. How are they going to live on a $15,000 pension? So now if you give them $42,000, they're like, yes, I got a respect check. I could keep working. Oh shit, I have to keep working because if I retire, I lose the $10,000 and I'm back at retiring at $32,000. It doesn't move with you. You want to give them respect. You give them a pensionable raise to their wage. That's how you have to do it. Mulgrew, before they do this bill, I hope to God, goes back to OLR and tries to reopen his contract to give them the respect that they deserve, a pensionable raise. That's what they deserve. I mean, if they get this check, I'm happy for them because I know it's money well needed, but it's not respect because they can never leave the job or they lose the money. Then what? So debunking bullshit. I'll have to do that one too. Is that legal, though, to diminish and impose copays? So, Michelle, here's the story on negotiations. Some of you always ask me if it's illegal for the union to do it, then can't we fight back? Well, here's the situation. This is the double-edged sword that we've always had to fight with. If the unions, those of us that were in a union, retired, if the union is supposed to protect you, even in retirement because you were a retired unionist, and they don't, let's say they just decided, we're not going to answer that, we're not going to do anything. Well, if they didn't screw you, the city could still do it all on their own. That's why the union was supposed to protect their retired unionists. That was their duty, their moral obligation was to protect their retirees' benefits from diminishing. They chose not to. Not all of them, some of them. The two richest ones, the two biggest ones who were leveraging our retiree health care to fund their contracts. And both DC 37 and the UFT did this. So if the unions don't screw you, the city can all on its own because you are not protected. That's what the union was supposed to be there for. But then when your unions sold you out, former unions sold you out, basically they got in bed with management and did what management could have done all on its own. That's why the union was there to pull out. Do you remember when I shared that video clip of Alan Klinger literally saying that, and I'm going to put this up today again, I just uploaded it a little while ago. The bill isn't illegal, but what it would do is if the city had to pay for those retirees, it would be less than it would pay for actives. Did you hear what I said? They didn't want to pay. And why is the MLC assessing copays on retirees? Because active workers are mostly younger, healthier people and don't go to the doctor. So if they assess a copay to you, you pay because you're older, you have more health conditions. You have more chronic conditions. You have more diseases because you're older. You go to the doctor. You pay a copay. They fill a gap, fill a peg, make money as a savings because the city isn't paying it. You are, and they're getting the benefit. You get it? That's why you'll see like Emily on TikTok and whatever going, and your healthcare is premium free. Yeah, it's premium free, but the sick people, the older people, the disabled people are paying out the ass, and the healthier young people are all premium free. Everyone's premium free. Who pays the penalty? The people who need their healthcare the most and are using it. That's not how that should have been. So now you have really sick people who have cancer. We got an email. You'll be hearing from one of our retirees on Monday on our radio show talk about how she has cancer. And she had to cancel her doctor appointments because she can't afford the damn copays. I want you to think about that. So when that video goes up today, please share it with City Council. Share it with your elected. And make that go viral. I narrowed it down as short as I possibly could. Direct and to the point. Hopefully that answers your question, Michelle. Short and sweet, the unions, your former unions were supposed to protect you. In this situation, Michael Mulgrew, DC 37, passed a resolution, passed an MLC deal in the council to assess copays on you as a part of a savings agreement in their collective bargaining. I've been retired over 20 years. I didn't deal. They did. Raises to fund their raises, their contracts, their everything. We didn't make that deal. They did. But if they didn't make it, the city had done it on their own, which is why they were supposed to be the stopgap to prevent the city from doing that. But if they did, they probably would have had to pay more, or they would have had to fight to protect you. Most of the unions in the MLC didn't want to see that happen. So we do have friends. It's just the two largest, richest unions are the ones that got in the way. Laura, Muddy the Water Mulgrew is consistently getting caught lying. I can't believe how determined he is to steal from vulnerable retirees. Let's see him sue. What a lowlife. And so I tell you, read between the lines. Our legislation would literally protect our healthcare from being diminished. He could not pass a copay on you, pass a deductible on you. He would have, the law would protect you. Why is he saying it interferes in his collective bargaining? Because he can't stick his hand in your pocket to get another copay or another deductible or change your healthcare, to use that as a value in his bargaining. That's really what he's saying. Mount Sinai hospitals are no longer taking Anthem. So, Janice, they're not taking Anthem if Anthem is your primary. Your primary is Medicare. This does not affect you. It only affects those who were on like an Anthem Medicare related. And to my knowledge, that wasn't you. Medicare is your primary hospitalization. Anthem is your secondary. This doesn't impact you. The city found $2 billion to put well, Lenny, there's rules that the city has to follow to make sure that people have housing. Hi, late. We'll catch up. You're welcome, Larry. Good to see you. I so agree. Paraprofessionals honestly need the money, but Mulgrew's unity respect narrative is very deceitful. It is, and they're trying to guilt the council into giving them a check, but it would honestly be more productive, more respectful, better for the worker if they had a path to retirement, not enslavement to the Department of Education. Does the member have a GoFundMe? I must have missed something. Katie, I must have missed something. I'm just going to assume you're handling that. If they were allowed to screw us, how sweet till the city was, but the unions had a duty, a moral obligation to protect you, and they didn't. I think it speaks volumes that the city has been down law department attorneys for years and now is apparently down 300. If the city is offering crappy employee, and you know what, Ellen, that speaks volumes. When you talk about tier 6, when you talk about low pay, when you talk about now threatening benefits in retirement, who's going to want to work for you? You're like a slumlord at that point. No one wants to have an apartment in a slumlord's apartment building. They want to be able to live in dignity. That's not dignity. It's not dignity to have worked for. Look, you have Mr. Stromer, Dan Stromer, who was a firefighter from Brooklyn. He was a delegate at the UFA. He just turned 100 years old a couple weeks ago. His pension is like $26,000, this poor guy. And they went to diminish his health care. Why would you do that? So this man could struggle more to live? He should live another 100 years old. And you know what? For the rest of us that were here after 9/11, the city lied to us on 9/11, in the months after 9/11, in the years after 9/11. They told us the air was fine, go back to work. They hid documents for decades over what they knew and when they knew it and what toxins were there. We were collateral damage that they were willing to risk. And it's only because of the Carboy lawsuit with 9/11 Health Watch, Ben Shavat, that these documents, they sued for discovery, and these documents were suddenly found in Department of Environmental Protection. That shows what they knew when they knew it. And they didn't want to say anything because they were afraid that they would be held liable because they put us in harm's way. We went back as responders. Survivors went back to their office buildings, and they were working amongst all that toxic dust. More people have died as a result of their exposure than died on 9/11. And then you want to take away our health care after you've lied and put our health in harm's way. And we have to keep saying that. This is why when you guys are speaking to electeds on the street or in meetings, or you go to community boards or whatever, don't just talk about Medicare Advantage. You need to talk about copays, and you need to talk about 9/11. These are other reasons that they would go, wait a minute, they did what to you? These should be the 3 issues you mentioned. Don't just mention Medicare Advantage. Mention that costs were shifted to you for the first time in 60 years to fund union contracts you don't benefit from because you're not in a union. And that the city lied about your health care, the city lied about 9/11's toxicity and sent us all back to work and sent you back to your apartments to experience that exposure that ultimately got most of us sick and died. And then they wanted to take away your health care. Those 3 things show hand in hand. Have to keep saying that over and over and over again. Let me go back and check if there's any questions. Nothing on Instagram. Okay, coming back to you guys for questions. Let's see. I'm reading Retirement Heist by Ellen Schultz. Very informative. I recommend it. I'm reading Evie Jones Rich's book, Civil Service Warrior. Let's see, Civil Rights Warrior. Kathleen. So all pre-Medicare retirees that have a new PPO with Anthem hospitalization can't use Mount Sinai? No, Kathleen. The new NYCE PPO doesn't use Anthem. It uses United. Anthem is no longer in the mix of any healthcare plan other than as a supplement to Medicare for Medicare retirees. And there's a few retirees who are Anthem Medicare related, which is a Medicare program that the city offers. Then that is an issue for them. But United Healthcare is the national component to the NYCE PPO. Camille, we never believed the air was safe. We could use the stuff. We could see the stuff in the air 18 miles away. Yep. I know, Camille. And that lives with all of us. Christine Todd Whitman was a miserable person. Yes, she was. And so was Mayor Giuliani, unfortunately, because he was the mayor at the time. Mulgrew must have beamed when in one of our copay hearings, Both the city and Emblem lawyers used the lame reason to further legitimize implementing copays to senior care. I still can't shake how they said in service never complain about copays. So why should retirees complain? Wowee. And that's because most employees don't always pay them. I mean, more retirees do pay them, and they knew that. And that's because when they choose to do copays in the documents that unions give us to read, like it'll say that retirees, Medicare retirees used the ambulance this time, used the hospital this many times, went to the doctor this many times, had surgery this many times, had physical therapy this many times, had this many blood tests, this many x-rays, this many CAT scans. They know how many tests you've had. And they said, based on this number of visits, if you charged all of those visits a $15 copay, you could save whatever, $50 million. And they did it. That's how you got the copay in 2025. They said it. Now, the court said senior care is under the HIP HMO. They can't charge you premium. So what did they do? They charge you a copay instead. They increased a deductible. That's what they'll do. Right now, they're talking about increasing a deductible. Your senior care deductible. They want that deductible like $300. So they're not good actors. These are not people to trust and look out for you. They're not looking out for you. They're looking out for them, but they're looking to stick their hand in your pocket to benefit them. And that's what we have to stop. Yes, Anthem is secondary to Medicare for hospitalization. I worked DSNY, was on Beaver Street in downtown Manhattan. There was toxic dust on the top of the buildings near me. And so for years after 9/11, as rebuilding occurred, toxic stuff came into our area again. Absolutely. We used to turn on the ambulances and the fire trucks, and the dust would come out of the air system of the vehicles. Instead of Mamdani holding the MLC heads and some city officials accountable for secretly working to bankrupt our stabilization fund, he's partnering with them to approve the transfer of drug data to predatory United Healthcare. I agree with you that I don't know, though, Laura, if he knows that includes him, because he might be thinking, look, he's got a commissioner like Renee Campion telling him, look, we've got to do this. He probably doesn't know it includes him, his wife, the speaker, her kids, her husband, city council members, their kids, their spouses. I bet you he doesn't know that. I bet you Julie Menon doesn't know that. I bet you the city council members don't know that. And I bet you they don't know that it was the UFT that is pushing that. Maybe you guys want to tell them that too. Marie Para, I missed this from the beginning, but definitely will watch later. This happens when Para's. Yes, because I talked about you guys. So go back and watch that. I heard over NPR that WNY or NYC, that Washington, D.C. org like OMB came to the conclusion, yes, it's called MedPAC. I saw that article as well. I saw it in Wall Street Journal. Medicare Advantage plans are costing the U.S. government, like the taxpayers, billions. It was a great article, John. And I think I posted that this morning or yesterday. I remember people telling me they think Zoran was going to give us a good contract. I'm starting to believe we're not going to get a good contract at all. Outrageous, sad, and exhausting, as you well know. Yes, I know. I have bags under my eyes from working on this shit. So that's basically it. Yeah. Well, oops, did I freeze? I think I froze. The council members still think this should be resolved in court. So Camille, you could tell them there is nothing yet to fight. There is no court battle right now. They have to solve this once and for all. And if they don't, they're going to screw themselves. Not that they probably care, but there isn't a court battle for us right now to fight. So quickly go over the 19th at 6 p.m., for those of you that signed up that you were either driving or taking the bus, we sent you out an email tonight telling you that there's another lobby day class. Please make sure that you attend so you know what the hell's going on. I sent you that email. Make sure you get it. If you don't see it and you registered for the bus that you were driving up or you were taking the bus, look in your spam that went out just before this show started at 5. March 24th is the lobby day. We will be bringing you there. For those of you that are driving or potentially taking that Staten Island bus, I may not have t-shirts for you, but I'll have them for the next event that we do. We had to order shirts very quickly, and I think we ordered about 100 of them. So whatever I have, I have. I talked to you about the Michael Mulgrew, answered Sarah Shapiro's question, and I think that was it. So let's just take one more quick check on questions, and then I'm going to wish you a happy weekend. I hate to say this, but the fact that Zoran may lower, I don't know what the rotate tax to 750 is trying to destroy generational wealth. I don't know what that, you mean the estate tax? Oh, estate tax. Yes, thank you. I hate to say this, but the fact that Zoran may lower the estate tax to 750 is trying to destroy generational wealth. It shows he has no concern for the older population. I don't know about that. I don't have $750,000. Hi, Marianne. Any update on the drug plan? Ronnie, what drug plan are we talking about? I'm going to Albany on the 24th. I may not be able to attend the Zoom on the 19th. Will you record it and send a link? I have to find out if we can actually do that on that. And if you registered for the bus, great, because I don't know what your name is. You don't have to tell me here. Just make sure that you are registered for that. Hello from Pompano. I love your haircut. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I worked at 40 Wall, was supposed to be on the 102nd floor of South Tower. I was required to return to work as a high-ranking employee. I got sick, as did all of us. Have a good weekend. Thanks again. Very informative. We appreciate you too. You registered. Perfect. Sorry, joining late. Don't worry. Go back and look at it. It's everywhere. Is the copay issue still? Yes, the copay case is still in court. That is still not resolved. It's not resolved. And even if that does resolve, it only resolves it for 2022. It doesn't resolve the issue, the copays that they re-implemented in 2025. So we have to start all over again. But this time, there isn't a legal basis for us to sue in 2025 for 2025's copays. We have to pass a law to fix that. So, and that's why the unions don't, the MLC, Money Water Mulgrew, doesn't want us to do that, because he's banking that $50 million a year that the copays are giving them. They want to make money off of our copays. There's no other way to say it. So that's why he doesn't want you. When he says that bill will interfere in my collective bargaining, what it merely means is it's going to prevent him from sticking his hand in your pocket and using your pension dollars in the form of a copay to finance his damn raises. That's the way we're going to say it. And we actually have the proof now. Yeah. So we can prove that to any city council person that wants to see it. We can prove it. So if Mulgrew wants to fight, he's got the right time to do it and the right person, and we got the receipts. Problems with new prior authorization, putting me and doctors through hell for meds I've been taking for years as maintenance meds. They're all playing doctor. So Ronnie Nicoletta, can you do me a favor, please? I'm going to assume you're on the city drug rider. And I need this information in an email to retirees@nycretirees.org. can you please say, Marianne, please send this to Marianne, because Bob will get the emails and he'll send them to me if you say that. Send me the email, give me the details, give me the meds that you're having an issue with. Tell me when it started. Tell me when the prior authorization, you should have had a prior authorization start, how long you're waiting for approval, how many appeals you've gone through, if you've asked for an exception. I want to know the issue, and then make sure that you give me a full name and a contact number, because then I will take this and send this up the chain. They will contact you, not me, because I don't need to get into all of your personal details. They will speak to you directly, but I want to send this to the proper place. Okay. So please share that with me, because I don't recall what issue this is, as if you shared this with me originally. Remember, our numbers are high now. We're like just almost 150,000 people, which is phenomenal, but still we talk to way too many people. And still, like, I mean, just so you see, like, my phone still says, like, I don't know, 74 text messages from this morning and another 11 voicemails I didn't answer, other than the 70,000 emails I haven't answered yet either. But just send that to me, and I apologize if you spoke to me already and I don't remember. I did remember Kerry. I'm supposed to do my homework and look at Kerry's documents, which I will do. It's horrific that officials debate whether senior citizens deserve to know about 9/11 toxins and whether responders and survivors defer. I hear you on that one too. All right, guys. So we wanted you to know all of the updates. Those are the updates. We told you we'd answer every question. I'm not going to be a muddy water Mulgrew and shut off your microphones, but I am not seeing any questions in Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, or LinkedIn. And hi, Donna. I see Donna over over on Instagram. I don't see anybody else asking a question or anything over there. All right, great. No, we just believe in transparency and answering your questions. And that's more than you get from your UFT people, your UFT leadership over there. All right. So you guys have a really great weekend. Enjoy your Friday the 13th, whatever you're doing. When I was in college, we would sit and eat popcorn and watch all like the Freddy movies. Do you remember Freddy movies? All the Freddy movies. And the Chuckies. Do you remember the Chucky movies too? I know. I love you guys too. Thank you for everything. You guys have a great weekend. Oop, what's this one? Annie. No question we earned our healthcare. New York City DOE Committee on Special Education District 27 clinical supervisors stayed late on 9/11. Showed up for work the next day. Our psychologists, social workers, educational evaluators showed up to do triage with us. We went for training on Beaver and Broad, surrounded by ash and service members in riot gear. I know, it was insane. It was really insane. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Night of the Living Dead. I still have Night of the Living Dead on VHS, Ellen. Yeah, like where he's carrying the head around in the bowling ball bag. All right. You guys have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Go out and do something fun. Hopefully you have good weather. I hope I answered all of your questions. I don't see anything in the chat, and I don't see anything over on Instagram. Hi, Robin. Good to see you. I see you on Instagram. You're welcome. I'm not incredible. You guys are incredible. All right. I'm taking off. You guys enjoy your weekend. I love you. Ciao.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way